Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. We're going to quickly jump into some of this mess that's been happening. So John Deaton's kind of protecting himself here because there's been some accusations of him being a part of this so-called committee that, Valhalla Capital is talking about with this buyback stuff. So he says, to be clear here, it says, I have not asked anybody for any money or for any contribution of any kind whatsoever associated with my efforts in Ripple or library cases. I've turned many people down who offered to contribute for my time and expenses. So coming over here, I'm going to click into this really quick. This is on the document that I'm going to briefly show here, but it says, right here, I'm going to just read this as, notwithstanding the foregoing, the U.S. corporation and Valhalla suggest, subject to the approval of the confidential committee, that's what it's called, the confidential committee, will mutually agree upon an amount for which the U.S. corporation will establish a fund to reimburse any participating token holder for any reasonable attorney fees incurred by such participation token holder in connection with the proposed transaction, which will include an amount to be paid to the Deaton law firm for its work on behalf of the retail holders of XRP in connection with the SEC action. So that's what he's referring to. He continues down here. He says, not only have I never been paid a dime, but I have spent a considerable amount of my own funds fighting the SEC's overreach, such as hiring local attorneys to file the appropriate paperwork for my appearances, etc. I am doing this because I can and because it is the right thing to do. To be clear, I have zero expectation to be paid. Although I truly appreciate people's gratitude for my efforts, I will continue to turn down any and all offers regarding any form of payment from anyone regarding my efforts associated with XRP and LBC. Unless I file an appearance as a defense counsel representing a company that is being sued by the SEC, my efforts will continue to be pro bono. I will not accept any money from any token holders related to my efforts. Many XRP holders and some non-XRP holders have expressed significant gratitude for my efforts, and people have made comments like, quote, when this happens, i.e. XRP goes up, I'm going to, and they include my name in a generous gesture. I can't control that. I hope this answers any questions. And then formerly known as Moon Lambo, but Moon Family Dance as well. So they literally just chucked your name in this document without any sort of discussion or agreement with you. Is their intent to hang on the wings of your credibility while providing the highly suspect offering? This whole thing they're doing just keeps getting weirder. So coming up here, Moon Lambo says right here, Jimmy Valley just now said that I and this is Crypto Eddie are taking his cash grab via the confidential committee out of context. BS. Here's the full document, the full context, sharing it again. So if I click in here really quick, you can see this is what he's referring to. And I think it's like 9. How many pages is this? So it's 13 pages. And let me see where. Is it 13 pages? Yeah, so it's 13 pages, and this is the page 10 has John Deaton's name right here. Can I zoom in? But it's right here. I'm going to highlight it. John Deaton Law Firm for their work. So that's what he's referring to. And Crypto Eddie says, do people really think it's okay that Valley put John Deaton's name on a document that is sent to the Treasury and central banks without asking him first? Especially in the context of receiving money. I also encourage everyone to read 18 USC C1B, then get a legal opinion. Did I miss something on this one? Long story short, I mean, obviously John Deaton said this from the beginning. He's not taking any money from anybody, and for them to even throw his law firm in there like that, I mean, that's just not a good look. So we'll see as the story unfolds to see kind of what happens there. But I'm going to come to this. This was John Deaton and Tony Edward from Thinking Crypto. It says, recently, Jeremy Kauffman made it known that the SEC threatened to bankrupt library before filing a lawsuit and then proceeded to bankrupt it after filing the lawsuit. I go over real-life examples exposing the SEC's despicable practice and why most people cave in. So coming down here, he says, in the full video, we go over how Library and Dragon Chain paid a couple million in legal fees before being sued during the SEC investigation, and they had to do it all over again in court. Bragg on how said Ripple will spend $100 million when it's all said and done on non-fraud cases. So the overwhelming topic of I guess their entire chat was that it's like this tactic of regulation by enforcement, right? So as they're, so-called investigating and there's no lawsuits dropped, it's like, okay, well, hey, we don't want to butt heads with the SEC. So, what do we got to do? We'll pay fees. We're just trying to do things the right way, right? So they pay fees, and then it's coming down the line. Then it's like, okay, now we're dropping a lawsuit on you, and now you got to pay the fees all over again. When there's companies not like, Ripple, the company that can actually go the distance with SC. So obviously, whenever these smaller companies, these blockchain companies, get into these situations when it comes to paying fees and then getting sued and then paying fees on that, they go bankrupt and their businesses go bust. So it's tragic, and it's detrimental to the entire industry. It literally stifles innovation and growth within the space. So let's listen to this clip real quick.
Comment, and I know John Reed Stark, who is a former career SEC person, brought up, why would you say such negative things about the SEC? And then he said the SEC's never lost a crypto case. So I want to address that because it's a very important point. So if we could pull up Jeremy's book, library, Jeremy Kaufman, this was his tweet a while back. And I want to focus on what he said. He says that they begged the SEC for 3 years to talk and explain the library how to be compliant and how to do things, right? And that they refused. But then you see that last paragraph, it says, in private conversations, they, meaning the SEC, threatened to attempt to bankrupt our company through subpoena and discovery demands. Now, that's extraordinary. You have an American entrepreneur, CEO, saying that before the lawsuit, when they're in the investigative process, the SEC lawyers are basically threatening to bankrupt the company through subpoenas and through discovery, because remember, the taxpayer pays for this.
Yep.
Right? Library has limited resources. They're filing bankruptcy. They're dissolving. The U.S. government doesn't. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, that's just Jeremy Kaufman. And Jeremy Kaufman's a character and this and that. You can't believe that. So let's see if it's true, right? There was a document filed not by Jeremy Kaufman, but by his lawyer. And this is the document. It was a pleading where they were objecting. But I want to go to the page that I've highlighted for your audience. And right there it is. This is the lawyer, not Jeremy Kaufman, saying, quote, let me read it. It says, time after time, the SEC returned to continue its pursuit of library, and in an egregious abuse of power that revealed the SEC's malice toward library, SEC staff threatened to continue issuing subpoenas to library for voluminous materials in order to bankrupt the company if library did not capitulate. That's a lawyer, not Jeremy Kaufman, putting in a pleading as an officer of the court that he witnessed these threats of this agency saying, we're going to bankrupt you if you don't capitulate. So when people from the SEC get up there and say, the SEC's never lost the case, this is the kind of abuse that's going on. When Jeremy Kaufman said it in the tweet, I knew it was true because I've been around career prosecutors, and that's what the SEC enforcement lawyers are. They're prosecutors.
Yeah, the SEC definitely isn't looking out for the everyday investor. They're not here to protect us. It's tragic. This is from Digital Asset Investor. Says, why would the SEC send Hester Pierce to speak at this Digital Monetary Institute while they are suing one of its members? Why would the the Digital Monetary Institute invite her to speak while the SEC is suing one of its members? So obviously you have it right here, Ripple right here. And it goes to that, all the world's a stage thing, like non-fraud case, let's just say this, just kind of thinking about how things been laid out. What if, Ripple and the SEC and all the, I guess you could say the proper channels, all the people that are in the know, what if it's all like, programmed in a sense this way? What if this was all part of the plan? All these little things that's happened, and it just kind of getting to the point to where, okay, we finally can say, okay, or the SEC can finally say, all right, we're good. We're good to roll out now. We're going to settle, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. And, Ripple and XRP can go. We have some standards in the space, and everything's going to roll out how we kind of anticipate it, meaning the SEC and, the governments or whatever, the government. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. When it comes to Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, Ripple, I don't think they're worried at all. And it's been quite evident based on, the little bit of interviews that we've gotten from them. But just to see this and Hester Pierce, speaking at this this thing here it's just interesting. This is from Mr. Huber here. It says, it's impressive. You can almost believe that maybe it's not 1,000% sure that Ripple will lose and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson will end up in jail like the Maxis say. I mean, literally, that's what I just said. I mean, look at this. If it really was something, Ripple's dirty, or, and if, Ripple's a part of this, on this board, or a part of this, one of the members of this Digital Monetary Institute, it's like, why would they bring in any SEC representatives, if they're attacking one of their members? I don't know. Something to think about. And I thought this was interesting. So I'm not one to talk about price and stuff like on my own, my own predictions or whatever, but I thought this was interesting. It's from Crypto Bull here. Says, hashtag XRP is forming in the same bottom structure as in 2017 before it exploded by 100,000%. Pay attention. So, I'm not a big chart guy. I don't do all this stuff too much. I have, certain indicators that I look at, and certain charts that I look at, but there's a lot of people that know a lot more than me. So I don't try to even act like I know exactly what the heck's going on. But this is what this gentleman has come up with, and I thought it was quite interesting, so I wanted to share it. Quite interesting, huh? Right here, this is from Digital Asset Investor. Says, I thought Hawkinson said he wouldn't be attending any conferences with anyone having to do with Ripple or XRP because we hurt his feelings with the truth. So then you got pictures of Brad Garlinghouse right here. Look at this gentleman right here, right? Boom. And then you got Charles Hawkinson right there. This is from the Bearable Bull. I wanted to end a couple questions here to kind of see what you guys are thinking. This is from the Bearable Bull. It says, lawsuit ends and XRP goes to $10. And this is just, just some number that was thrown out there. What's the first thing you're buying? And I'm curious to know, like, what's the first thing you're going to do? A lot of people are talking about, buying cars, houses. What do you think? What, if you, based on the bag or, the amount that you have, and if it did go to $10, which would be huge, what are you going to buy? Just wanted to throw that out there. And I really like this one from Crypto Lulu as well, which Crypto Lulu has been under a little, been on the hot seat a little bit with this whole Valhalla Capital proposal thing that threw John Deaton's name into the proposal. But he's been trying to defend himself on kind of what's been happening. So we're going to follow what's going on with all that as the day goes on. But he says the XRP's case ends. What happens in days after? Quite honestly, obviously there's going to be some people front running it, they have inside information, case ends, finally hits the public gets wind of it, price starts going up even more. There's some euphoria that kicks in, some FOMO, all that stuff, right? People start selling their bags, might have a sell off, because people taking profit or whatever. And then depending on whether we're in a part of the bull market, whatever this happens, a lot of different things are going to dictate what I think is going to happen. But I definitely see, a major rise up and then, a massive sell off for people taking profit and stuff. But there's definitely going to be a lot of euphoria and FOMO that's going to be instilled. And I wanted to end on this one because this is huge for me. So Cointelegraph says, what advice would you give a crypto newbie? There's a lot of things that I've done good in this space, and there's a lot of things that I've done wrong. Wrong meaning lost money or just didn't think things through, or I believed, and followed the wrong person, became a part of the wrong group, all those things. I think the biggest thing that I can say to any new person within the crypto industry, investing or following people, is put on blinders. When I mean blinders, not to the information that that's available, not educating yourself on charts, none of that stuff. I'm talking about do not worry about what your buddy next to you is making, or what they invested in and made what return, or your favorite influencer made, 100x on a digital asset. because you trying to compare yourself to other people is going to force you to have FOMO. I mean, that's genuinely how it happens. Like you don't want to, like you don't want to be the person that's literally has the fear of missing out. So say, your favorite influencer said, yeah, I just had a 100x on this new AI, digital asset, or this new AI company. And, it already went up 100%. You're like, man, I want to be a part of it. So you start selling, your assets that you're already in, or you're dumping more capital into the market into something that's already ran up. And what's going to happen? You're going to jump in and people are going to sell off because you're buying at the top. They're selling their bags to you. And not having conviction on what you're researching, what you're invested in, and what you're hodling until you hit your price targets and what you're comfortable with for you and your family and your financial goals, it's going to hurt you if you don't have those blinders on. You're worried about what everybody else is doing, trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to outsmart the market and think that you can, I'm just going to quickly move money from, this digital asset A to B real quick and try to flip it so I can move it back in. It's like, well, you're going to burn yourself 9 out of 10 times. You may get lucky one time, but 9 out of 10 times you're going to burn yourself. And that's just per my experience in the space. And I've heard a lot of testimony from a lot of different people, from everyday people like me, from big crypto influencers to people that actually are actually spending hundreds of thousands of dollars within this market trading and stuff. That's the biggest piece of advice that I can give a newbie, is like, put the blinders on to what everybody else is gaining and earning within this space. Okay, focus on you. Set up your trading plan and your investing strategy, right? And try to stick to it to the best of your abilities. It's okay to tweak things here and there, change a few things to make adjustments to better for yourself, but know what you want. And if you only have, in one bull cycle, right, you only have, a 5X, but your buddy had, a 50X. It's like, okay, well, what could you have done different? What are you looking at? What did you invest in? Maybe they chase, some overnight, meme token that went crazy. And that's why their portfolio went up 50X. But you stayed in a solid project that you vetted based on the information that was available, and you had high conviction on it because you knew that it had true use case and true utility and, can truly have an impact on the world. It's just taking a little bit longer for it to move, or it's already higher up in the market cap when it comes to these digital assets. Who knows? The point is they're not you. You're not them. You got to do what's best for you and your family and your own financial goals and your own life. That's the best piece of advice I can give. And I think if I really would have had someone, sit down and tell me that, or even hearing it on a video, man, I think it would have made the world of difference for the few mistakes that I did make in this space. I'm learning every day. I've been in this space since late 2017. I've still made mistakes, and I'm still making mistakes. But I'm learning and I'm growing. And as I make these mistakes, I'm trying not to make them anymore moving forward. I'm trying to do things better. And I'm trying to educate you just based on my experience. That's all this channel is. I'm just having a conversation as if we were sitting in a circle, sitting next to each other, having, some sort of healthy drink, smoothie, water or something. I don't drink, but, having an adult conversation about this amazing space and this amazing opportunity we have being alive during this time. That's all it is. It's just a conversation. I don't have all the answers. I'm just an everyday dude, man. I'm a father of two that's just trying to make it for my kids and I in another world, if in a sense, being in this crypto space outside of a normal career and a normal job and all that stuff. But that's the advice I have for you. Oh, man. Well, 18-minute video. I appreciate you sticking around. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there, you guys. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.